All right, many stories making the rounds. I think I'm going to base my today's analysis on the media chat where the president didn't provide clarity on most of the questions. For instance, he was asked about gradual removal of subsidies, and he said no, they had no option. They had to do it. People were eating the future today. But he forgot to say that NNPC still paid subsidy until about the start of this year. But what people were saying is that they would have still increased the threshold they were paying and gradually phase out the removal until other factors were working, like the refineries. Port Harcourt refinery finally came on stream with its own challenges. Take, for instance, there's no catalytic, what's it called? There's no or reformate units that is going to take naphtha and convert it into petrol. So they had cracking with C5. That and many challenges heralded the situation of things. So, and also the floating of the currency was another very big challenge. But he didn't address that. He said there was no option and there was no choice. But he also forgot that subsidy was paid for about a year after, despite the fact that the said subsidy was gone. But what people were just complaining about was the thresholds. And the reason why the impact was there was devaluation. So, I mean, I didn't see a real grasp of the nitty gritty issue. He kept on saying that they had solved the problem of ways and means. No, they have not solved the problem of ways and means. Ways and means was just securitized. He kept on saying that didn't have a need to go to NMPC and all of that. But he forgets to also understand that he has taken humongous level of debts. Yes, debt servicing might have reduced to about 68%. But when you look at even the debt servicing ratio on the budget, which is taking about close to 15, 16 trillion, which is even more than the money allocated to infrastructure, healthcare, education, and defense, which are very important parameters in the budget, then debt is now the problem killing the Nigerian economy. And I was thinking that the journalist would have pressed him on how, in fact, a journalist asked that question, but I didn't see a lot of people follow up to be able to make the president understand that you have taken a lot of debt. The debt threshold has increased from about 87 trillion now to over 134 trillion as we speak. And these are pertinent problems on ground that I have not seen any solution. When he was asked how are you going to bring down inflation, there was no clear sign as regards how he's going to bring down inflation. He talked about agriculture, the same agriculture that the president said they were going to cultivate about 10 million hectares. So, how much has that cultivation been? Initial promises he made in the past, promises as regards the food import waiver. He announced the policy, and the policy practically did not take off the ground. So, what was his precise agricultural policy? Apart from, oh, we're going to cultivate more, we're going to do more. Doing more is not a policy statement. What was his own precise agricultural outlook? I mean, those were many questions. He was talking about tax waivers, incentivizing businesses. How was he specific on doing that? Because you see, we've had tax waiver even caused a lot of brouhaha at some point that people have even voted, I think, in the House of Parliament as regards reducing these tax waivers. So at a time that in one breath you are saying, oh, we need to have a new tax bill which is going to increase VAT. You're also talking about tax waiver. So how are you going to do it? Is it a president that wasn't able, administration that was not able to execute the import waivers effectively and nothing was talked about there? Is he the one that's going to be able to implement all of these other things? And I didn't see any precept by precept approach. He talks about solid minerals. We are subject to cultures. Is it solid mineral they've not been able to fix all this while that all of a sudden, as they're going to get some reprieve on, as regards getting solid mineral up and running? How much have we made from solid mineral? He talks about the fact that, we have lithium in Kaduna, lithium in Nasser. So, what has been the government approach to be able to ensure that these minerals gets into they bring revenue that gets to government coffers? All we have just seen over the years is a lot of theft of these minerals. The Premium Times did a report as regards Bani in Kwara area, where lithium is just being mined and just being stolen, and there's a big, connivance even with the security agency that collect bribe from these people that carry all of this out. So I didn't see a lot of detail and rigor as regards, the president answering the questions. He also talked about the fact that it's a budget of restoration. It's a budget of restoration, but you're also increasing the deficit. And what you're spending on capital expenditure is not good enough. What you're spending on debt servicing alone trumps all you are spending on those capital expenditure in those key sectors like I've talked about, health, infrastructure, and the likes. So the big question we're asking the president is we don't see a lot of detail, we don't see a lot of rigor as regards answering the questions. We don't see a lot of an understanding and a grasp of the state of play of the Nigerian economy. We just see a lot of very high, generalistic, overarching ideas, not with a lot of detail as regards the state of play of the economy.